Hey, hi, my name is Christopher. I'm the founder and CEO of Krigen.AI. In the last year, I've been speaking to multiple business owners. The number one problem that they come across is that they're investing a lot into their social media, but they're not really able to see the benefits out of it or justify their overall ROI. So, the problem that I observed in most small business owners, especially in India, is that although your implementation is going well, you might implement a few ads and you might run a few ads on Meta, but all of the steps before you implementing an ad or taking an ad live might not have been taken care of. And that's why I thought today I wanted to talk to you guys about marketing management, right? Now, what really is marketing management, right? And in order to describe the entirety of marketing management, you can use the GSTIC framework. What the GSTIC framework is designed to do is streamline your marketing activities in a logical sequence, right? So, which means if there is some kind of problem which is going on in terms of lead generation, or one particular region isn't really performing well in your overall portfolio of products, you don't really know where to go back to if all you're doing is just implementation, right? So this is a logical sequence that allows you to track and measure each and every aspect of your overall marketing engine, right? And every business owner who's newly started a business definitely needs to pay attention to their overall marketing management, because if not, down the line when they're scaling, they struggle to identify where they go wrong, or they struggle to scale overall, right, as a business. So what does the GSTIC framework entail? Number one in GSTIC is your goal. Now, what do I mean by goal, right? As a business, you need to understand what your goal is going to look like from your marketing initiatives. Now, your goal could either be in terms of I want to generate, say, 5 CR, right, in terms of revenue, or your goal could be like I want to get as much brand awareness as possible because my product is going to launch next year, right? So you could have different goals, but always make sure that your goal has benchmarks to it. Now, if you take, for example, a revenue goal, right? So the focus is to attain a certain amount of revenue, say 5 CR, and when you put in a benchmark, you're having a quantitative benchmark, which is the actual 5 CR number, and you also have a temporal benchmark, which means how much time is it going to take for you to achieve that goal, right, out of your entire marketing campaign or your marketing structure. So a good example would be I want to generate 5 CR for my business in the next 6 months. So make sure that you have your goals ready with you. Along with goals, the next step is your strategy. When you take into consideration building a strategy, you need to pay attention to your number one, your target market, and number two is your value proposition. Now, what exactly is your target market? Your target market can be defined, with a very easy framework. It's called the 5C framework. It's very popular in the marketing world. Your target market needs to include details about your customers, your competitors, who your potential alternative solutions or products are out there, your collaborators, these are your service providers or individuals that will work with you for you to fulfill your service or fulfill whatever needs you have. Those are your collaborators. It will also include partners. Then the current context, what is the events that are happening in today's world. That's the entire context of aspect of your target market. So the market might be at recession, so that's a very important aspect to consider in terms of your target. The value proposition is essentially what value is your customer receiving from you, and when I'm saying value, you need to be able to define it as the unique value propositions that you are able to bring to the table for your customer. And by unique value propositions, I'm talking about specifically what sets you apart from the alternative products or service players out there, or the same industry product or service players out there, who are your direct competitors. Alternative competitors could be, say, for example, if I'm a cold calling service provider, and there's already a technology that can do AI cold calls. then that's another industry, but they're solving the same problem, right? So they're an alternative solution provider. So you need to consider, how you differentiate from your alternative solution providers and your direct competitors. That's your value proposition that you take for your customers, right? So once you have your goal well defined along with your strategy, right? And that is when you actually get to the actual core of marketing. And you have to understand, for any business owner, right, has to go through these steps. Otherwise, you are not going to be able to scale your marketing system. You are not going to be able to run your marketing program to its maximum efficiency, right? So the third step in the GSTIC framework, which will allow you to streamline your marketing activities, and all that too in a logical sense, sequence, so you're able to figure out wherever you're going wrong, right? So the third step to that is to identify your tactics, right? Now, when I'm saying tactics could be on a product level, and tactics is generally how you take your marketing to the messaging to the market, right? Delivering that marketing messaging and getting the response out of that marketing messaging. All of the aspects around that is encompassed within your tactics, right? The tactics will include your product. Product is essentially the ownership entitlement, is taking place to the person who's paying you in return for the goods that you're providing. So they're getting that ownership entitlement. So they have that ownership entitlement. You're selling a product. That's what a product means. And your services is independent of any kind of ownership entitlement. It's on a monthly basis or on a contractual basis, however you are engaged with that particular client. Your brand, your pricing, your incentives, all of these aspects fall under your tactics, including your communication, how you're going to communicate your marketing message, to your customers or your prospective customers, and your distribution, which includes, how you're actually going to fulfill the availability of the offering, right? So that's what distribution is. Are you going to sell on your landing page? Do you have a payment link, or are you going to get them on a call? And that's the next step towards closing that particular end customer, right? So what's the most important aspect around tactics, right? You need to understand that the first 5 components within the tactics, which is the product, your service, your brand, incentives, the incentives that you are able to offer for your customers, the pricing, all of these aspects are what go into designing your value, right? So you're taking a product which is going to give value to your particular end customer, and you can do all of the designing aspects of that product in terms of the marketing messaging. You can do all of that designing under these 5 categories, which is product, service, branding, incentives, and your pricing, right? That's what is going to make it really attractive for your end customer. And I'm going to cover that now in simple words, right? Strategy is all about understanding the exact value that you have, the value that you bring to the table. Tactics is about how do you take that value to your end customer, right? And when you're taking a value to your end customer, the first 5 components that I mentioned here, which is product, service, brand, price, incentives, are crucial when you're designing the offer that you're going to show in front of your customer, that communicate your target customer or prospect. The distribution is how they're going to make the payment, or they're going to go ahead and buy the services from you, right? So you want to have all of these aspects perfectly aligned before you go ahead and implement whatever marketing channel that you want to go to, right? So how is this going to look like, right? So the company action, in case you're focusing on designing the offer, which is the designing side of the overall offer, which comes under the tactics, attractiveness of your offer is going to increase. What this means is the more you are going to spend time into designing the offer that is going out into the market, and the time you're spending is going to make you more attractive as a solution as compared to your other competitors. And you want to be the most attractive one there, right? It's business. End of the day, you're competing with multiple other players, so you want to make sure you're very attractive as an overall offering. And in order to increase your attractiveness as a product, as a service, you need to pay attention to your product, service, brand, incentives, and your pricing, and all of your offer needs to be created around these areas, right? The sixth and seventh component of tactics, which is communicating the offer, creating awareness about your offer. So you have an attractive offer in place, and by communicating, which is the sixth layer of the tactics, which will help you take your service to your market. The communication layer is going to increase the awareness of your product, right? That's how you choose to communicate, be it paid ads, be it organic marketing, be it offline marketing, whatever you want to do. You're spreading awareness about your offer, so as many people as possible know about what you have to offer, right? Your attractive offer. And the last one under tactics, and again a very important component, is delivering the offer, which I already spoke about. It's to the impact is going to be that the availability of the offering, you need to be able to provide them. Once they say, okay, I want to go ahead, let's see what are next steps, the availability of the offering needs to be seamless, right? So all of this needs to be created and very well planned, and that's what marketing management is. And for your business, if you have these aspects well planned and established, then you are able to go ahead with the next step, which is implementation, right? And once you're implementing, you're on ground. You can do it via an agency, or you can hire your own marketing team to run ads for you, or run all of these things for you. But you need to make sure you're first and foremost making sure your goals are well defined. You have your strategy in place, which is the value that you're taking to your ideal market or your target market, and your tactics, how are you going to do it, and what your overall offer is going to look like is what your tactics will be around, including the way of communicating your offer, as well as the overall delivery process, right? So this needs to be properly planned and defined, because when it happens that way, the control process, which is the final step of your marketing management system, will be it will be much more easier for you, because when you are controlling this entire marketing activity that is taking place, you will of course have to be constantly evaluating whether your marketing engine is working or not. Are you able to see the best ROI out of your marketing engine? And you can do that evaluation by, remember I told you, you need to define your focus and your benchmarks. So your focus, which is the number that you're going towards, and the benchmark, which is the timeline and exact quantitative number in hand, that's going to help you evaluate how your overall marketing system is performing. And monitoring is you're going to be under control. You also have another aspect called monitoring, which is identifying changes in the market. That's something that you need to be constantly doing, which is part of your overall marketing management system. So if you follow this particular framework, what ends up happening is you get a very streamlined marketing system in place, where activities can flow in a very streamlined manner, and it's a very logical sequence. So if anything goes wrong, you know exactly where to put in the time and effort to correct those mistakes that might be happening within your marketing system. So make sure you follow this framework. If you want to speak to me over a call, then feel free to book a time with me. A link should be available on my bio. And thank you so much for watching this. I hope you found this helpful, and look forward to seeing you guys in the next video.